The Orlando Magic looking to get themselves into the mix in the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference, and they're going to be exploring the trade market, trying to add firepower to their squad. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the Basketball Bulletin. Make sure you subscribe right here to the channel, joined by Donnie Freeman. Donnie, the Orlando Magic just beat our Lakers the other day by a point on a late three. The pain is real, but somehow, some way, we're going to get through this one.
I was having an all right day, all right couple days. I totally forgot about that. And you had to remind me about the heartbreak.
Sorry.
That was such a fun game. Like the
up until the end,
3-point shooting, the dunks back and forth. Man, but of course, Franz had to just ice it, man. That was a great shot, though. On this channel, we can't be biased. That was a great shot. Great game. Awesome. So, altogether, though, yeah, the Magic, let's talk about them.
Only Franz.
A little bit hate. I hate a little bit.
A little bit, just a little bit. All right, here's the latest on the Orlando Magic and the trade front from Brett Siegel of Clutch Points. League personnel are watching the Orlando Magic closely due to their abundance of youthful talent and future draft picks after getting KCP in free agency, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and sustaining success with Paolo Banchero's sideline. That's been really impressive. Yeah. They've been able to continue winning games without Banchero, who's fantastic. He was so good. I'm so excited. I think he's making the leap to true superstar this year. If he can get back and be healthy, come on, Paulo. Cole Anthony, Jet Howard, and Caleb Houston are players that could be packaged with draft assets to help the Magic make a big splash. This is a team that does not shoot the three particularly well. In fact, I believe, last I looked, they are the worst three-point shooting team percentage-wise in the NBA. So they're going to look for an offensive talent to change that. Cam Johnson emerging as a key target. Donnie, I hate how perfect of a fit Cam Johnson would be on this. He's a great fit in a lot of places, but everywhere. He's a perfect fit for the Orlando Magic.
Did you see what he's been doing the last few games?
I haven't. What's he been doing?
Look at you. I'll let it surprise you. Pull it up here. You got to see it. Cam Johnson, like you said, perfect fit everywhere. And he's really been interesting, averaging 19 points this season. You found it?
I did. I had forgotten. I saw the 34-point game, but I didn't see the 37.
Yeah. And look at the 3-point shooting.
9 for 13, 6 for 12, 4 for 7. This dude could shoot. Yeah. He had some rough shoot, but that's 3-point shoot. But look at the scoring. That he'd be great.
Yeah, he's been up 19 points per game, shooting 42% from three this year. He's like you said, he's going to fit basically anywhere. I think he'd be perfect on this team. And you know what it is too, is they've got so much size. Like you see it just on the box score, but you see it really in game, like especially against the Lakers, who it's kind of weird. They've got size, but they don't at the same time. The Magic at one point had 3 guys that were all 6'10" out there, and that's without Paulo, who's 6'8", 6'9". You had Cam in there; he could play the 2 or 3 for you. 6'8", 6'9". It's just going to be massive, and he can give them some more firepower. The Magic are an interesting team because they're the second best defense in the league. I don't know if that went up since the last time I checked it, but they were the 25th offense.
They're a good defense, bottom line.
Yeah. But they obviously could use more help on the offensive side, and obviously getting Paulo back will help rectify that. In fact, one of the last games we saw from him this season was a 50-point bomb that he dropped, that'll help fix that. But I think that if they could add in more firepower, they're going to be absolutely that matchup that you're not going to want to see out there.
Yeah, they are. So indeed, the Orlando Magic dead last in the NBA in 3-point percentage. So you could certainly use somebody who can fill it up. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope was brought in to help with that, but he's not shot the 3 this year. But we both know how streaky he can be. We know he can certainly turn that back around. But even with that, even with those issues, right now the Orlando Magic sit as the 4 seed in the East, and they're actually winning at a 59% clip. They're 10-7 on the season, positive point differential of plus 3.6. They're really good, and they play very, very tenacious defense. Love seeing that on that end of the floor. They are a scrappy team. They're going to fight for everything. And if they were to get a guy like Cam Johnson, he would go a long way towards putting them over the top. So let's talk about this, because Cam Johnson actually has one of the more interesting contracts in the league. And we'll go ahead and pull this up here. So Cam Johnson, one of the issues is a lot of people look and see his salary and you go, oh, cool, he's only $23 million. Not quite. So he's actually got some incentives on his contract that right now are unlikely incentives, but if he were to be traded, those have to be considered part of his salary. So because they're unlikely, they're not in here right now, but they would bump him up to essentially 27 million, right around there in salary, not the 23.6 that you see. So you have to stack up some significant salaries. But at 28 years old, he's in his prime. I think he's just a great target for them. So let's get to roughly 28-ish million in salary. Let's see, do the Magic have cap space here? Not much flexibility there in terms of cap room. It's not like they've got money to play with here. So let's say the Orlando Magic, you're trying to make a trade with the Brooklyn Nets. Let's just play around with the little trade machine here. Let's go Brooklyn Nets, Orlando Magic, and let's try to make a deal work here for Cam Johnson. Again, I think he'd be a great fit for them.
So let's maker. We've never done that before.
Well, let's have some fun with it. The Spot Track has a fantastic trade machine because it's got all of the cap nuance added into it. Okay, so Cam Johnson going to Orlando. Cole Anthony was a player that was listed. Let's send him to Brooklyn. You can see that trade does not work just yet. We got to add more to it. What else can we add in here? Jet Howard would be a nice lure, I think, for the Brooklyn Nets, who are going to be focused on young talent.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
I could go with him, and there you go.
That works.
That deal would work. That's enough money leaving the Orlando Magic and enough money going back. Now, do you think Brooklyn does that? You get Jet Howard, you get Cole Anthony. I think they probably need some type of draft capital coming their way.
Yeah, probably so, because they're gonna. I really do think the Nets are gonna sit on all their guys like they did with Mikal until they get the best possible package that is 100% in their favor. So they're probably looking for one or two picks, to be honest.
The nice thing is, you look at this. The Magic, they've got plenty of future draft capital. You look at this, they've got their own pick in all these years. They also have the Denver pick, 6 through 30. So what if we were to trade? I mean, the Magic are going to finish high enough in the Eastern Conference to where I think if they just sent their own first this year, and even if they wanted to, maybe send their first next year. And if you were to do top 10 protected, I think that probably gets it done.
Yeah, possibly. I think that could do it.
Would you, let me ask this, would you do that if you are Orlando to get Cam Johnson, who I think is a perfect fit?
I think I would do it. Just this year's first round pick is not going to be in the lottery, I'd imagine. So the way they're playing, especially because they can potentially get better because they're missing probably their best player. And
that's why he kicked it down the road a year too, is so that Orlando could say, hey, we're going to be even better next year. Let's do it next year. And then it's going to be like the 25th pick or something in the draft.
I didn't even see that because I was looking up because I was going to ask you about Cole. What the heck happened to him? Because he's basically just a throwaway at this point. Yeah. And he projected. Yeah, he just basically fell off a couple of years ago. I was looking at his numbers, which is also why I was a little distracted here. He's basically just fallen out of favor here. So it's interesting to see that as well.
Well, yeah. And some of it is some other guys have stepped up for Orlando. That's certainly part of it too. But I mean, Jet Howard was a first-round pick, a year ago? So
yeah,
you could almost look at this as, you're taking on Cole Anthony, his salary, but you're getting a young player plus a first. Like this, to me, this is everything Brooklyn could want in a deal for Cam Johnson. Plus, I think the Orlando Magic are getting a really good player that fits great with them and makes them a real threat in the East. I like this trade. Everybody let us know in the comment section. Do you like this deal? Cole Anthony, Jet Howard, and a protected future first-round pick. We're going to call it top 10 protected to Brooklyn in exchange for Cam Johnson. Are you doing that deal? If you're Brooklyn, are you doing that deal? If you are Orlando, let us know your thoughts in the comment section on that. But Donnie, I think this takes Orlando. This deal, maybe you have to do one more, but I think this deal takes Orlando from being, I think there's a gap. There's Cleveland and Boston clearly at the top of the Eastern Conference. Then there's this second tier with the Knicks and the Magic and maybe a full strength 76ers if they get healthy ever. I don't know. We'll see how many players only meetings it takes. If the Bucks, maybe they can get in the mix. But I think right now there's a 2-team tier with the Orlando Magic and the Knicks. And I think doing this trade would give the Magic, I think, a decent chance at separating themselves from the Knicks. I don't know if it makes them top tier, but it gives them a decent chance of becoming a tier of themselves in the East.
Well, I think that I don't, like I said, I don't think that the other team does this deal because I really think that they're trying to get 2 firsts for Cam.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I think with the Magic, they're basically getting, I don't want to say like trash. They're getting rid of guys that they're not using, and they're adding in a starter caliber NBA player that can shoot the ball, can defend well for them, can score if asked to. They are also going to add in Paolo at some point. Like this team, I think they're going to be a matchup nightmare for a lot of teams with all their positional versatility and size and just the shooting that they could potentially have if they make this deal as well. I think they're going to be a crazy team to match up with, and they probably, like you said, can separate themselves in that second tier. I really think that with the first and second tiers in the East, it's going to be a lot of like matchup based stuff, similar to how the West was last year.
For sure. I think that's going to matter big time in the Eastern Conference. I've got with Jet Howard, I'm counting him as like a first. He was the 11th pick.
Yeah, he was drafted last year.
Yeah, so that's where I'm getting the extra first essentially to
maybe 2 seconds.
Brooklyn. A couple of seconds? Okay.
Yeah, maybe that.
Yeah. Well, in any event, I think it's an interesting deal. Let us know what everybody thinks in the comments down below. But again, the Orlando Magic, they're a team to keep an eye on the market, looking for some type of a big splash, particularly somebody that can help them in the scoring department. If they get that piece, I think this Magic team could be a big problem come playoff time. But everybody, thank you again for joining us. We appreciate you all coming in here. Go check out our most recent video, which is on the Milwaukee Bucks and why, despite the Orlando Magic, we found a trade for them. Nobody wants to trade with Milwaukee. Why are teams being so mean to the Bucks? Go click that video and check it out right now.